Hello. Welcome
Hello.
to the Anime on Draft podcast, episode 120. Little Pumps.
Little bombs.
You can thank Alec for that one. I'm your host this week, Rolando. And as I mentioned, Alec is the one who came up with that beautiful title. And Mark is also joining us as well.
What's
Yeah,
up?
Mark 2 as an afterthought.
I thought you said Little Pump.
Little pump.
Little Pump?
Little Pump?
Little Pump is here.
It's my new rapper name.
Little Pump,
Little
yeah.
Pump.
Little Pump. So,
I get the people going.
No special guest.
Provocative.
Little Pump.
no
Gets the
special
people
guest.
going.
No Drew. He is boycotting the episode because we don't have a special guest.
Yep.
And by boycotting, he is at work.
Yeah.
So
Because he loves work so much.
he loves work so much.
F.
F in chat for Drew.
F's.
Big F for
rip.
Drew.
So
Rippin'
this
pets.
week, we've got quite a bit on our slate. We have a few beers from Elysian. They're pumpkin beers. A continuation of our season start 3-episode rule this week on Kabukicho's Sherlock, case files, whatever the numbers are. And then we have more news. Mark's back with his Margaritaville segment.
Ooh, we're bringing it back.
Yeah.
Such
Bringing
a
it
good
back.
name, too.
And then we've got, as always, our Orashiri segment, episodes 3 and 4 of Cowboy Bebop, the English dub. And just whatever other fall anime or not necessarily fall anime that we're watching. But without further ado, let us introduce the libation of choice this week. Alec and I think I have the same beers.
Yep.
The Elysian Punkachino, Coffee Pumpkin Ale, and then Mark, what do you have?
I got the Dark Knife, the Pumpkin Schwartz beer. I didn't know it was a Schwartz beer.
I have that one as well, but I really wanted to try this beer.
Me too.
I don't
And
blame you. That one sounds good.
I almost drank the Dark Knife yesterday, but I didn't.
This is
I wanted
dark.
to find that Punkachino. Alex said it. It sounded really good. I was really, really hoping they had it.
Oh my god, it smells so good. Holy
Look at
shit.
that.
Mark, you're going to be jelly.
Elysian has a lot of pumpkin stuff.
Yeah, they
Look-
do. I know.
it's
I
like-
love them for it.
Look at this beer.
It's beautiful.
It's very dark and cloudy. It's actually not as black as I thought it was going to be. It's actually a little opaque.
Here, I can turn up my light so we can
Pretty
maybe
dark.
really see it.
And
It is
it's got a
pretty dark
nice
as well.
creamy coffee colored head.
You know, we're getting real bright in here.
Ooh. And it smells like a pumpkin spice latte.
Oh man, that is dark.
Yeah,
It's like you're
it's
just holding an
really
8
dark. Wait, did you say I'm holding an egg roll?
It looks like you're holding an 8-ball.
Oh.
like
Yeah, it
like,
looks
what
like
is
he's
that?
holding an egg roll.
Look at this is cool. You can see
Like
the
an egg
bubbles
roll.
if I hold it still.
Yeah, there is a
Nice.
lot of carbonation in
There
this
it
beer.
is.
I think that's contributing to the sort of opaque color that it has. Yep.
It smells like pumpkin. All right. David
Well.
is here. Welcome.
that looks
Welcome.
good.
So yeah, this beer is or not this beer. These beers are our drinks of choice for this week. So we will come back to that in a second after we've kind of settled in. But let me see. So 3-episode rule.
Yes.
Let's get into it. So for this second
We in it.
episode of the fall season, we're looking at Kabukicho Sherlock. There's only been one episode that's come out so far.
Mark, you're clearer now. Your camera cleared
Oh.
up.
Oh yeah,
Yay.
that's nice.
You're good. So
It might have been the
one
light. It
episode.
was probably adjusting.
You got it.
Awesome.
So-
So first questions. What did you guys think? What did you guys think about this series before watching it? Like, what were your preconceptions about Kabukicho Sherlock?
All I remember was that it was a mystery series, and that was it. I didn't remember anything about the synopsis going into it. So it's very safe to say that within the first 2 minutes of the show, I was like, "What the fuck is going on right now?" Uh, yeah, I was very surprised. I was like, "What's happening? Like, what's going on?"
I'm with you there.
Yeah, that was me.
I did
But
not know what was
I
going
was
on
in-
either.
It was a little different. It wasn't what I expected either. Yeah, it was more humorous than I expected out of a mystery.
It was kind of odd, honestly.
I mean, like how he
Uh,
switches into that.
I didn't-
What do they call it? Where he starts
Yeah.
performing.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess that's where so I know like they're saying they're on the east end of Shinjuku, and that's the Kabukicho district.
Mhm.
I'm assuming that there was a lot of kabuki theater done in that area, in the past, is what I'm guessing, which is why Sherlock. I don't remember his full name. It's not Sherlock Holmes, is it? Because that would just make
It is.
it is
It's
okay.
Yeah.
That would just
Sherlock Holmes, yeah.
make too much sense.
It is Sherlock Holmes.
yeah.
And
So
then
he
the other
goes
guy
into
is something Watson.
he goes into a Rakugo act,
John.
Yeah,
which is
that's
like a comedic theater.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, basically, you kind of already heard our initial thoughts of the show based on the first episode, but it's weird. What do you guys think about the characters? There's Sherlock Holmes. Was it James Watson or whatever? John Watson.
Didn't they say his name was something else, or did they say it was John Watson?
I thought they
I
said
Don't.
John
know.
Watson.
I don't. Then I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I just was too caught up in it being very strange.
Yeah, it was interesting, like definitely very entertaining. And I'm assuming like that part of the Shinjuku ward is just very eccentric, and I mean it's like all these neon lights and it's full of very flamboyant people. Uh I don't know. I was kind of hooked though. Like it was interesting enough to like keep me entertained, and like I wanted to know exactly like why. I guess.
Why he does that and what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on?
Why he's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
eccentric, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess like isn't Sherlock
He's
Holmes
always
like
eccentric.
always been eccentric? Doesn't matter
That's
what.
true.
It just depends on like, the story he's in or who's, because there's like not Johnny Depp, but Iron Man. Crap, who's the actor?
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey.
There's that
RDJ. Yeah, he's Sherlock. He's very eccentric because everyone Robert Downey Jr. plays is, kind of kooky.
That type of.
And
Yeah.
so he's very eccentric.
he's like
And then
that.
if you watch Sherlock on HBO with Benedict Cumberbatch, he's also really kooky in his own genius sort of way. So it's like he's always kind of eccentric. It's like Albert Einstein. He was weird. He drove around in figure eights on his bike for hours. So I don't know.
This is like a different type of eccentric from the rest. I guess it's just
like-
because of the location, like the setting that you're saying.
Yeah.
It's
This was like
it's
split
just so
personalities.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
so out there. But it's still like I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it had some pretty good comedic elements in it. Didn't expect like the ending. Where he
Yeah,
just gets
Yeah,
hit.
he just
by
gets
a
hit
car.
by the car.
He's
Oh,
just
man.
Yeah.
strung out on the ground.
Yeah, that was weird. The whole episode was just
It was weird.
odd.
Very weird.
Yeah.
I'm not
yeah.
really sure how I feel about it, to be honest.
I was getting like some Durarara kind of Bakano vibes, and not like the good parts of Bakano that like we mentioned. Like it was like the what is it, Zach and the girl.
yeah,
It was like those parts of Bakano, like where they were just so out there and just wild and crazy. But it was like still kind of like you have like this like really like kind of jazzy tune, like jazzy music going on in the back, and then just like random crap will happen. and then followed by some other like like a scene switch to something else that's like kind of associated with the plot, but it's also just like super random with like the the two gay lovers that are just like they're like, oh, we got the wrong guys, just kidding.
Yeah.
Let's just close that door.
Speaking of the
Um,
jazzy music at the beginning was pretty good.
yeah, that's why I was like, okay, like this is cool, I can get behind this. And then and then
You cut out for a
oh,
second. What did you say?
Yeah.
oh, so yeah, and then it brings in like the very flamboyant side of the series, and you're like, oh, all right.
All right, we're
Yeah.
here. We're in this.
It is definitely like flamboyant,
Mhm.
because Holmes, when he starts deducing everything, he goes into that Rakugo act and then is like singing comedy
Yeah.
and his deductions, or like in a comedic way. So he he's playing two roles in the Rakugo. It's like a two-man act, and like
Oh,
he's playing the straight man and the kind of out there slap. I don't know if she'd say slapstick, but like the
More wild character.
yeah.
I don't know what the term is, but I know what you're talking about.
And
The
so
non-straight man character.
yes,
Yeah, the other one.
but it I don't know. I'm not gonna judge it completely based on the first episode, but
Mm.
right now I'm on the fence. I have to see the other two episodes, give it 3 episodes to see where I'm at. But so far, I'm just confused and not sure how I feel about it. What about you guys?
I enjoyed it. I'm interested to see where the next episodes go, because sometimes the first episodes are very different, and then everything shifts after the first episode. But I'm kind of interested to see where they go. I enjoyed it, how it had this kind of weird kookiness to it. And when he was doing his deductions, that was still kind of cool to see. It felt very Sherlock Holmesy, where he notices all these minute details, which is really cool. But it did have that super weird, like, what's the fuck is going on right now kind of aspect, which I was like, I'm on the fence about that. The other stuff, like how weird it was, I'm like, I don't know, this could go good, this could go bad. But the other aspects about it, like I liked the setting, the music was good, the character design was cool, and like the deductions, and I even kind of liked his weird act, because it was like, okay, he's eccentric this way, but there was some other stuff that I was like, I'm not so sure. So it's kind of where I'm at. Like a little, I think I'm less on the fence than you, but also still kind of like, I've got like an arm on the fence. I'm like, hey, how's it going up here on the fence?
You're like ready to kind of hop to the
I'm
side,
like
but you're
ready
not,
to
Like, am I
kind of
gonna
like
climb
making
up
that jump.
am I
and jump
climbing?
over?
Am I, you know,
Got your
not-
ladder,
not
ladder
really
out
sure.
and
Yeah,
ready. Like,
I'm out there with a hand and a ladder. I'm like, all right, we're getting on this fence. I don't know. Let's see.
it's just kind of chilling here
Yeah,
next to
just
it.
chilling.
I'll probably keep watching it. I think the thing that I'm concerned about is how tired of this show that I'm gonna get. Like, because it's entertaining for sure. Like you said, like the deductions that he did were really good. Because I'm a big fan of like the Sherlock series on BBC.
It's so
And
good.
it's amazing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
such a good show.
Everyone watch it,
Um,
please.
yeah, please do. Uh, and I enjoyed this episode just because of like how kooky it was. I think it was pretty fun, but I don't know how long that's gonna last. Like how long that appeal is gonna last, and that's kind of what I'm afraid of. I'll at least give it 3, maybe give it a couple more. Um, but I mean, we'll see. I guess this might be one where like I kind of just keep watching just to keep
Because
you guys filled in. Yeah, and see like if it gets any worse or anything, or if it actually continues to be good. Maybe I'll do that.
all right. Well, while we're on this topic, so do you think? What's your gut prediction? Do you think it's gonna be a kind of 3 episode and drop, or is it gonna be one that will be worthwhile for the whole series?
I think that people who give it the 3 episode rule and are already on the fence about it will probably drop it. Um, I think like if you weren't already like entertained, maybe at least by like the first or second episode, then I think it's probably gonna be one of those like drop series. But if you enjoyed like the first couple episodes, then I think it'll be at least worth watching.
Alex?
So.
I mean, right now, like I'm leaning towards wanting to continue watching it because I was pretty entertained by this first one, and I like mystery shows. We haven't had one in a while, and so I'm interested in watching another one. I kind of agree. If you're not like already like enjoying it, probably not going to enjoy it going forward. It's probably going to stay pretty similar to what it is now. That's at least how it seems, unless I'm completely wrong. But that's always an option. But I'll probably continue watching it, kind of like you were saying, Mark, and kind of give it just a shot. Because I don't know, I watched all of King's Game. I think I can make it through this. So, and it's not anywhere near like bad. It's not bad. So,
no.
I don't know if it's something we would keep in the show. I don't see much to talk about. Oh, the deductions were cool. How he figured this. Oh, that was it. Or it's weird again. I don't know. I don't really see much of a conversation coming out of it.
It's not like the perfect insider or anything.
Yeah, like unless there's like a really big like plot that's happening, and we're like, oh my god, like I need to tell somebody about what's happening, or the cliffhanger or something. But I don't quite see that happening.
Yeah, no, I don't see it being like a big overarching like long murder plot where it's like, what do you think happened? Oh, did you notice this? It's gonna be like, I think it's gonna be episodic. This person dies, he figures it out, he does his act, they move on. At least I think so. Unless they introduce some of like the old school Sherlock characters, like the main villains of the actual Sherlock books or whatever. So
they already have Jack the Ripper.
That's true. They do have Jack the Ripper.
I feel like it is gonna go in that direction. So like I'm still on the fence. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a 3 and drop. Like I'm still gonna give it the next 2 episodes before I make that decision. But right now, the first episode didn't leave a bad impression, but it also didn't leave a great impression in my eyes. So, if I had to give a gut reaction, I would say it might be a drop for me. But, I've seen shows with a better first episode become way worse and become a 3-episode drop, and then I've also seen shows with a significantly worse first impression on the first episode get significantly better. So I'll give it a shot.
I'm thinking Carol and Tuesday right now.
The next Violet Evergarden.
Oh, damn it! All right, everyone, toast.
That's the
one. Speaking of toasting,
never gonna live that down.
Now that we've kind of covered Kabukicho Sherlock, let's get back into this beer.
All right.
So, the Elysian Punkachino. This one is, let me find
it's 6%
alcohol percentage. 6% ABV, contains lactose.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to be
going
to the bathroom tonight.
Feeling it, huh?
Seems like it might be like, it doesn't say it's a milk stout. It also just says it's a coffee pumpkin ale.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like an ale.
It doesn't look like a stout to me.
It doesn't look like a stout, or?
No, it doesn't. Like,
it's
I very carbonated. So
I mean, the darkness does look like a stout, though, the color. But like, the head didn't look like a stout.
There's no like roasted malt notes in it.
If you look through the top, it definitely isn't like thick and syrupy looking like a stout. It smells so good. It smells like
it's also
cinnamon and cloves.
It has too much of a mouthfeel to be a stout. Like a vibrant mouthfeel.
Yeah, too carbonated. Mm-hmm. But you get a lot of roasty flavor on the back end after you you've drank it all down and you're like breathing through on the back of your tongue. It tastes like you're eating the roasted grains, roasted malts. It tastes really good. Because I get that at the very end. I noticed it after I took a sip and we were talking. It was like back there and I was like, oh, there it is. So kind of has a little bit of a, dark.
Yeah, I can get coffee,
Brown.
I can get pumpkin, I can get like cinnamon, nutmeg. I'm getting all of those notes. It's a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be.
Me too.
But I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, it's definitely, because it's not a stout. If it were a stout, it would be a lot more. I think what we were thinking it would be when you look at a bottle like this and it's called a Punkachino or whatever.
You'd think it'd be full bodied. It would have a very significant roasted malt flavor. It would hit you significantly with the coffee and pumpkin spice, but it doesn't. It's just kind of like you get coffee at one point, you get roastiness in the back end, like you said. You get significant carbonation that helps kind of, I guess, separate the flavors.
It does. That's a good way to put it. It does help separate the flavors. I also think it helps it not be super heavy, which a beer like this can very quickly be really heavy on the tongue. And the carbonation kind of washes that away, which is probably why it feels so light, despite it being lower alcohol.
And also, I think it does help you pick out like the cinnamon and the nutmeg, because like the air is helping you kind of discern those flavors.
Right.
Yeah, Mark, what about the dark knife?
Batman.
The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight, the old Batman. I got that. Man, that Punkachino sounds really good.
You should have got it, dude. Was it not there?
I didn't have it. It wasn't there. Trust me, I looked and looked.
Trust me.
I looked all over.
Buddy.
I even asked. I was like, "Those are all the pumpkin beers you got? This little section?
That's it? You only have like 4? It's October, my guy.
Hiding anywhere else? They had a lot of the Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, they had like cases and cases.
People love that beer. It's a pretty good staple. So
Somebody said it's one of their favorites. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's nice. I was like, you should try the Weihenstephaner, like the fest beer, and see if you like that as well. And the Oktoberfest Sierra Nevada one was pretty good.
Just go back in time and get the 2018 Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest and just shit all over the Sam Adams and every other Oktoberfest. Just do it because it's delicious.
Well, there are 2 Weihenstephaners out there, right? There's the Oktoberfest, just the Märzen, and then there's the Fest beer.
The Fest beer, yeah.
So I'd be interested in trying both of them because I think I've only had the Märzen.
I think I have both here.
Whoa.
I'll hold on to them. I also have the Warsteiner Oktoberfest and the
I'd be interested in trying that too.
Oktoberfest. I drank the HB Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
I got one of each.
There's an HB over there, so
yeah, we can just go there.
You want to check
What's
the
up?
stream, Alec? Look, for me, it looks like it's going kind of crazy.
Oh,
What's it doing?
is it flipping out?
Look like we flipped out for a second there. I think it's good.
It's not dropping frames on my
loaded
end.
Okay.
David, is there an issue?
Maybe that was-
Alert us to issues if there are.
Please let us know.
Please let us know in chat.
Pay attention, David.
Yeah. What type of like? I haven't had too many Schwartz beers, so like, what type of beer is this?
You know what? It kind of reminds me of like very light stout. Almost. I mean, it's not like a Märzen. Like you're not getting like really malty. It says it has pale Munich and roasted barley, and a smattering of dark malts. I'm.
Oh,
you cut
out for a second.
You're not something.
Yeah. I think your gate closed on you or something. Oh, he's laughing and I can't hear him.
He's laughing and we can't hear him. Well, while he's kind of messed up there and we can't hear him, he's pretty right. A Schwarzbier is it's like a light stout, I guess. It's dark. It has kind of the same chocolate coffee flavors, but it's lower alcohol content. Can you hear me? Can we be heard?
It says I am AFK, that's why. It moved me to the AFK channel.
There you go.
There we go.
Welcome back. I can hear you.
Yeah, All right.
We're gonna have to turn that off. It's okay. I'll change. I'll adjust the settings. I'll adjust the settings for that channel specifically. Let me see if I can do it right now.
I was like, you guys are AFK. And I can't go in there and tell you guys to get out of AFK because it just automatically beats you.
I don't know why. Like it said in Discord, you need to turn on push to talk because I think the audio was just going through to you like 24/7. So like you just assumed I was AFK. I don't know why. That was kind of weird.
I don't know.
That was weird. So yeah, back to the Dark Knight, the Dark Knife. I'm not getting a whole lot of pumpkin either. This is I'm not gonna say I'm like disappointed, but there's not a whole lot of flavor here. I get some spice. I get some ginger. I am tasting like a little bit of malt, but not a whole lot of it. Not a whole lot of anything really. It's just very light and subtle. I mean, it's only 4%. I think if it had something else, maybe if it had like some sort of like a dark chocolate or coffee or something, maybe that would bring out some of those flavors. But yeah, all I'm kind of getting is just like a little bit of malt, some spices on the back end, like some ginger. Not really getting a lot of pumpkin. So I don't know. This is I wish I had the pumpkino. I'm just gonna say that.
Let's see.
Unfortunately.
I've had this one. I'm pretty sure last year.
I don't know. I have a bottle of that too. I'm interested in trying it. I picked it up because I haven't had too many Schwartz beers, and the last time we had one on this podcast was like over a year ago. So
we haven't had a lot of styles.
Yeah,
we
mostly
need to go try some
double IPAs and hazy IPAs.
We've had a lot of hazy, a lot of doubles. A good smattering of stouts, and then a few Belgians.
Yeah,
and then
we'll need to explore a bit more of the imported beers.
We need to get like a quad, a Belgian quad would be good. I don't think we've had one, have we?
We have, but we just haven't had one in a while.
We have
maybe a Dunkel. A Dunkel.
Maybe.
I've never had a Dunkel.
Maybe.
We gotta try some new stuff.
So we had the Boulevard quad, right? That's what we had.
Yes, the I think it's just called the quad, or no? It had a special. Was it the tank?
The tank, yeah. I think tank something. I don't know.
Yeah. Don't quote me on that, but yeah. Let's get into our ratings for this. So, Mark, since we're on you, what do you think about the Dark Knife?
I wish there was more flavor, more of something. I think if it had some more pumpkin, maybe some more spice, I think maybe that would elevate a little bit. Like you said though, I haven't had that many Schwartz beers, so I'm not sure if it is just like that style where it's just
Maybe
like very light malty.
Course.
Yeah. So I'm not too sure, but I mean, this thing, it's really dark too, so it's like it almost just tastes like a really, really light stout. But I don't think that's like what they were going for at all.
I think that's just the roasted malt is making it dark.
Must be just that. Yeah,
so
roasted malt.
I'm reading Schwartz beer right here. It says sometimes called black lagers. They remind some of German style Dunkels, but Schwartz beers are drier, darker, and more roast oriented. These very dark brown to black beers have a surprisingly pale color, blah, blah, blah. They have a mild roasted malt character without the associated bitterness. And then they're saying malt flavor and aroma is low to medium levels of sweetness. So
yeah, I think
mild flavor.
The main part with you getting the color and the beer itself getting the color is just probably the roasted malt, because
that roasted malt.
That's where beer gets its color in general, from the malt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it is very light. I mean, I'm kind of glad, like it's a Monday, and I have a 22-ounce beer that's only 4%.
Yeah.
That's okay with me. Like I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's not 12%.
Yeah, thank God.
I was worried about this.
I was worried about this beer too.
Oh, good. All right, that's fine. I can drink this. 6% ain't so bad.
Really like prepping myself, eating lots of rice earlier, and like.
And now you don't need it. You're just full.
He was
You're just
preparing
full
all
no
day
reason.
for tonight's episode.
He had
I
like
was
5
like, man.
burgers.
I was off like half the week last week. I had a long day today. Up and I was like, oh, it's gonna be a long day. Really strapping myself in for this episode. So I'm glad it's a little bit easier to drink. But like I said, I wanted some more flavor, maybe more spice or something. Maybe more pumpkin, because I'm not getting like any pumpkin, like barely like a taste at the very front, and that's it.
That's
I
disappointing.
don't know. I'm gonna probably give this like a 3.25.
I thought you were gonna give it that.
I thought you were gonna give it lower.
Oh really?
Really?
I was
Yeah.
like, Mark's gonna give it a 3.25.
Thought he was gonna give it like a 3.
Rip.
I try not to because I'm not too familiar with the style of beer, so I don't want to like just tank it. But yeah, I think like a 3.25. It's not bad. It's still enjoyable. I mean,
it's just
still
not what you
got
expected.
Yes. Yeah.
Compared to like other pumpkin stouts you've had in the past, or what
Right.
it looks like. What does it smell like? Did you say?
It's earthy. Like it's got like some pretty.
It's earthy.
Thought he was
Smells
gonna be like, it
dirt.
smells like feet.
Smells like feet
Smells-
in pumpkin.
It's like what I would think a Schwartz beer smells like. I don't, which is I don't.
It smells like exactly like a Schwartz
this-
beer, you idiot. Oh, have you
this-
smelled one? No.
He's like, it's got this je ne sais quoi.
You got a smelly smell.
It's
that
kind of a
smells.
smelly smell. What is that from? That smells
I don't know.
smelly. I think it's SpongeBob.
Well, Alec, this beer I think is not a 3, but
No.
what would you give the Elysian Punkachino?
I'm quite enjoying it. It's not what I expected, which isn't a bad thing. I expected it to be a little different. I should have known it wasn't when it called itself a coffee pumpkin ale and not something else. I should have known it would be more on this light side. But I enjoy like you were saying with the carbonation really bringing out the different flavors. That's really cool to kind of have, and you can pick them out and actually like taste each part pretty easily, not sit there like, because sometimes you get a beer that's really complex but it's also heavy, so you sip it and you're like, okay, I get that, and then you wait and then you take another sip looking for each specific thing they say that's in there, and you have to find them individually by like closing your eyes and sort of wishing and being like, oh, there it is, I found it. And it's
Wishing
like,
for it to
right,
come
you're like,
to you.
come on. Yeah, it's like on the back end as you breathe through your right nostril with your other one shut and your eye closed. Oh, there it is, I found it. And you have to do that every time. But I think it's really good. And so I'm gonna give it a 4. I think it's a solid beer. I would buy it again, especially around this time this season. Like, this would be a beer that I would put in the glass with you guys, hang out, have like we could each have one of these and not be all messed up, and just like, I don't know, it wouldn't get you too messed up. It would taste pretty good. And I find it rather refreshing because it's not super heavy on the tongue. It's not like having a Pilsner in summer, but refreshing, but like an October beer in winter.
Yeah.
That isn't like, oh God, I just drank syrup. Like, so 4 for me.
Yep. I'm kind of with you. This beer, like, it has a nice nose, very coffee.
Oh, I love the smell. The nose.
Pumpkin spice, very, very nice aroma. The carbonation, as we've already said, really helps pull out the flavors. Like, just aeration in general is like very good for flavor because it helps. The air helps separate the molecules and then lets your palate discern the flavors a bit easier. And it really helps with spices like nutmeg and cinnamon, which this, like, it really pulls it out. And like, I'm disappointed that Mark hasn't really gotten any pumpkin taste out of his beer, because this beer has like a very distinct pumpkin flavor to it. And a lot of times you might just associate pumpkin with like the taste of like pumpkin pie. This isn't exactly that taste. Like, you get the pumpkin taste and you get some of the pumpkin spice, but you get like a little bit of the roastiness from the coffee and the malt, and it's just like, it's a little bitter, not too sweet. But the finish is very like, it's pleasant. It's like if you have a pumpkin spice latte.
PSO.
I think that's why they call it the Punkicino, because like it finishes like you are drinking a pumpkin spice latte. It's got that kind of remnant, like roasted flavor mixed with just like the spices.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that it's also 6% and not too heavy. This Alec actually described this perfectly. This is the perfect beer to just have and chill. Like I can just imagine, like sitting out on the porch, like hanging out.
Yeah.
Just
with a outside in the winter with a heater.
Yeah.
Chilling with one of these, and having another one after you've had one, and being like, yeah, I'll have another one.
Yeah, like it's not too heavy or anything. It's just overall solid beer. So, yeah, I would give this a 4. It's not, amazing in the sense that like I thought the Zumbar chocolate coffee stout was amazing, but this did surprise me with how like my expectations were of a stout, but it's not. It's just a pumpkin ale.
Yeah, it's just a pumpkin ale. So.
It's a lot more similar to a holiday ale, like a winter ale, than it is to anything else.
Yeah, where they're like kind of spicy but light in flavor. Yeah, I think that's a good description. If you've had another holiday ale and you kind of know that spicy back of the tongue side of the tongue flavor, but it's light, then you kind of know what this tastes like, just with different spices. Instead of like coriander and what is it, cumin? Not cumin. Is it cumin? Coriander and
nutmeg.
And this is cloves, cinnamon and nutmeg, and so it's just a little different. My favorite part though is the smell. Like, oh, I could live in that. Like, if my whole house smelled like that all the time, I would be a happy person all the time. Like, it smells like someone is perpetually baking pumpkin pie in this cup just forever, and I love that smell.
Like, where did Alec go? Oh, he can't leave his home. He just
can't leave.
Someone's been baking pumpkin pies in his place.
And he just
24/7. He has to be there. He can't leave.
He can't leave. He's actually barricaded in by all the pies. He strong-armed his work into letting him work from home.
I'm sad Mark can't have this beer right now, but
I'm gonna keep a lookout for it.
I'll go get another one. You just have to come out here, and I will provide the beer.
Fair enough.
And we can go to the HB.
Let's do it.
Okay. And get a boot.
Get a boot. Das Boot.
Get a boot.
Das Boot.
Das Boot.
All right. So, moving on, we have some news. So, Crunchyroll has announced its most viewed anime for summer 2019. Now let's take a look at this list. So, most viewed top 20 titles for summer 2019 in alphabetical order. This isn't in most viewed order.
Pog.
Attack on Titan, season 3 part 2 or season 4 part 2? Like what?
Season 3.
It was a part 2, and no one knows why.
Instead of season 4.
It was called that way.
Yeah.
Black Clover,
part 2. Oh, God.
Bleach, Boruto, Demon Slayer, Doctor Stone, Dragon Ball Super, Fairy Tail, Fire Force, Food Wars, Hunter x Hunter, Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, Isekai Cheat Magician, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, My Hero Academia, Naruto, Naruto Shippuden, One Piece, The Rising of the Shield Hero, and That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. So there's a very significant emphasis on shonen in this list.
There's a lot of shonen on there. Yeah. And isekai.
That is basically the whole list.
So it was in alphabetical order, not
viewed order.
So
yeah.
what's the point in having a list like that?
It's just they're just giving you a list of the top 20 most viewed titles for summer 2019.
I want to know which was number 1.
This is worldwide too, like worldwide.
Yeah.
I want to know which was number one. Like, I want to know the views.
If I had to guess what number 1 is, it would probably be Dragon Ball Super.
Oh, you're AFK again.
Oh, I am? Oh, yeah. Damn it. Sorry, Mark.
I saw Mark be quiet.
Oh, it's because it says the channel requires push to talk. Is there a way to not have that?
Yeah, let me see. It shouldn't require.
I don't edit channels permissions.
It says it requires push to talk, so I think that's what the issue is. While you fix that, moving on to the next piece of news. So there's a new trailer for the My Hero Academia movie Heroes Rising. I accidentally just clicked on the trailer.
It's gonna take it straight to it. Yeah, sorry, that's the YouTube link.
If you're interested in seeing this, do you have a Twitter post on this, Mark? Do you have a tweet?
I'm gonna post it right now.
All right, so Mark's gonna post this on Twitter if you want to see it.
Yeah.
Tweety bird.
Follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter at Anime on Draft.
Follow us.
So next we've got Promare has been extended for another week of screenings, along with some December screenings starting December 8th in the United States. So it says this is the Promare Redux event. Will begin in the US on December 8th at 12:55 p.m. local time, so wherever you are in the US at 12:55. The screening will have English subtitles and feature all new bonus content, aka Super Log Crying. Yeah, this is another Fathom Events. Fathom Events screened the original one, and it's back. So if you haven't seen Promare, we did give it pretty good reviews. We said it's definitely an enjoyable watch, especially if you are a fan of Trigger or just in general, like Gainax of old, just the whole crew. If you enjoy that style of anime, you enjoy your Gurren Lagann, your Kill la Kill, this is the movie for you. So definitely go hit it up on December 8th. Next we've got...
Hopefully I fixed it.
PA Works original series Appare Ranman. Let's see that. So PA Works has announced that it is producing an original anime called Appare Ranman, and the key art for this looks really cool.
It does. The trailer's there too. It looks pretty interesting.
It says here, the story is set at the end of the 19th century and on the eve of the next one, aka the turn of the century, or 19th to 20th century.
The end of the century.
After a certain mishap, the brilliant but socially inept engineer Sorano Appare and the shrewd but cowardly samurai Ishiki Kosame find themselves drifting on a boat from Japan to America. That is a very long distance, so I don't really know how I feel about them just randomly drifting to America in the middle of the end of the 1800s.
The ocean is safe. The ocean is calm everywhere.
Because plot.
Yeah, but besides that, it looks like it's gonna be like some sort of like Wild West type anime. So it says here they end up in Los Angeles and make it to New York. So that is one hell of a trek. By boat.
It's a long drive.
Yeah.
By raft. Steam-powered car.
Yeah.
By raft.
By raft. All
by
the way,
rowboat.
one shot by raft.
By raft. But yeah, this looks interesting. I haven't really been excited by PA Works in a while, but this is actually a show that I would be interested in seeing.
What's it called again?
Appare Ranman.
Oppai Ranman.
No, not Oppai Ranman. And then our last piece of news here, the Nijigasaki School Idol Club aka the perfect dream project girls from Love Live, are holding center elections for a new single with PV animation. So if you like Love Live and you want to be a part of the third, wait, is it the third single? I don't know if there was another single for their second album, but if you want to vote for the first and single with animation PV for the new Love Live group,
and potentially
details
be
will
one
follow.
of the singers.
No,
that's part of
no, it. No, let's not lie.
No, you can't do that.
That's not true.
Details will follow. Look at the Love Live official Love Live Twitter, and yep, we will see who wins that. But I believe they showed the midterm results, and Setsuna was in first place, which is probably as expected.
Yeah, Setsuna.
So, all right, that wraps up for our news, and on to our happy hour. So we've got the return of our favorite Mark segment, aka Mark's Margaritaville.
Margaritaville.
Yeah.
We should get a segment of Margaritaville and play it real quick.
How about you sing it for us real quick?
I don't actually remember how it goes. That's why I'm saying we should get the sound.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
instead we'll just get Drew singing the drive-in yakitori.
Yeah, let's get that. That's a good one. Yeah, Margaritaville, welcome. This has been a while. What I am reading right now, and also just a little bit of manga news and whatever else you guys are also reading, and maybe another recommendation. So currently reading, I just caught up with Kanojo Okorishimasu, or the rental girlfriend. I've been on this like weird, like I've been reading like a lot of like random, trying to find like a good romance story. This one kind of fills that.
Mark wants something to make his heart feel whole and make him cry.
Yeah, give him that doki doki.
I want to get some feels again.
Yeah, he's cold inside.
He wants to join that literature club.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe not that one.
So the premise of Kanojo Okarishimasu, dumped by his girlfriend and emotionally shattered college student Kazuya Kinoshita, attempts to appease the void in his heart through a rental girlfriend from a mobile app. Chizuru Mizuhara seems to be the perfect girl with everything you can possibly ask for: great looks and a cute, caring personality. Upon seeing mixed opinions on her profile after the first date, still tormented by his previous relationship, Kazuya believes that Chizuru is just playing around with the hearts of men and leaves her a negative rating. Angry at her client's disrespect towards her, Chizuru reveals her true nature: sassy and temperamental, the complete opposite of Kazuya's first impression. At that very moment, Kazuya receives news of his grandmother's collapse and is forced to bring Chizuru along with him to the hospital. Turns out to be nothing serious, and his grandmother's ecstatic that Kazuya has finally found a serious girlfriend, which had always been her wish, and unable to tell her the truth, Kazuya and Chizuru are forced into a fake relationship, acting as if they are truly lovers. So it's a pretty cute series. I've been enjoying it. It's got its very, very cute moments. It's got its really well drawn panels. The females in this series are really likable. They have some likable personalities, maybe except for like one of them, because this kind of starts getting into like a harem. Definitely a rom com. But the main protagonist, the main character, Kazuya, he has his shining moments, but a lot of the time he's like one of those, young and like very just kind of innocent, and always like, makes really dumb mistakes or says the wrong thing at times. So at times he's not very likable, but he has these moments where he says the correct thing and like is very like honest with himself, and so other people kind of drawn to that and start to like him for those moments. But the annoyance definitely comes out pretty often. So take that with a grain of salt and just kind of push past it and do it for the best girl, Mizuhara. Yeah, Izuhara, because she's great. She's a great character.
So, like, I don't like you said take that with a grain of salt, but I don't know how he sounds any different from any other main
protagonist, right? Yeah.
So it's like if you don't have any issues with other main harem protagonists,
That's true.
You shouldn't have any issues with this guy.
That is very true. Very true. Yeah, it's got some pretty funny parts, like I like the switch in art style that happens from like something serious, and like, you know, it's like got these really well drawn out panels, like the full page spreads, and then it has like these really like derpy faces and kind of really poorly drawn like sketch faces for, you know, comedic parts. So it's at least like really entertaining. Some of the side characters too are pretty funny, and they bring like a good element to it. So yeah, that's Kanojo Okarishimasu. I would recommend it. I think right now it's at 14 volumes.
So that's a lot.
It is a lot, yeah. It's like 115 chapters, 115 chapters that are out.
Wow.
So yeah, I recommend it. I think it's good. Mm-hmm. I'm also currently just started reading. There's only a few chapters out of Dosanko Gyaru is Mega Cute, and this is kind of just like one of those cutesy, like, new kid moves into a new town out in the countryside from Tokyo and doesn't know anybody, and the only friend that approaches, or the only person that approaches him is this Gyaru, who is like very loud and kind of out there and a little bit ditzy, of course. That's just like, you know, part of that, like that character trope that they bring in. But they end up, you know, becoming friends, and he like really likes her. So it's cute. It's good. It's got some really good stuff.
It's mega cute.
It's mega cute.
It's like Sakura Quest, but with romance.
But with some romance.
Yeah.
And in manga news, Doro Hedoro has announced its studio and the cast. This is the series that I have talked about previously, and I'm very excited for the anime to air, because this is another one of those gritty manga series that it's so interesting. It's got a really crazy plot. The characters are so fun. The whole magic elements to it are pretty interesting. There's this really kind of gripping underlying story that's driving a lot of the characters. It's a good series that I'm very excited for. So this is going to be airing January 12th of 2020. So it is going to be done by Studio Mappa. Yuichiro Hayashi, who also did Kakegurui, is directing the anime, along with Hiroshi Seiko, in charge of series composition. And he did Banana Fish, Mob Psycho 100, and Vinland Saga. So that's pretty promising.
Quite a pedigree on this series.
Yeah. So Wataru Takagi, Reina Kondo, and Kobayashi Yu are some of the main cast. So they're playing Kaiman, Nikaido, and Noi, respectively. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for you guys to... Doro Hedoro. Yeah, it had just finished... just completed the manga, actually. Like, I think it's this year. I think it was this year. Just finished.
What is your source for this news?
This is from Anime News Network.
Okay. Reputable.
Mark's like, where did you come up with this information?
I just made it up.
I just made it up. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's an anime, and these are the people. Oh my god, you're right.
I don't see a source linked in the script here. I don't believe you.
If you go to dorohedoro.net, they also have more information, as well as a splash art, I guess.
I don't trust it unless it's
I'll link that there in chat if you want to take a look. It's an interesting looking series.
Wikipedia is trustworthy because anyone can edit it, so we have the knowledge of everyone in the world.
Yeah, you are correct. Yeah.
That's cool though. That sounds like a good show. I will watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems interesting.
It's cool. Yeah.
So the next on this manga readaville, I put these in. because I've been reading some stuff,
Mm.
and Mark and I have been talking about
Very good.
stuff we've been reading. So one series that I started picking up because I've been seeing it on the our manga subreddit a lot is I Shaved, Then I Brought Home a High School Girl. Now that I know that's a very weird name for a series. It's a seinen series, and it's about this
Guy who shaved
guy.
and brought home a high school girl.
It's this guy, and he's basically like in love with his boss, who's this like older, big-breasted businesswoman, and he's kind of infatuated with her, but like he gets like rejected by her, and then on his way home he's like super drunk, and there's this random high school girl sitting out in front of his place. And she is homeless, she's a runaway, and he basically is like this is no place for you, like what are you doing, like, and he like invites her to his house, and basically invites her to live there without any sort of like repercussions. Like she assumes that like he is like all the other guys that let her stay at their places and just wants to sleep with her, but he just treats her like a human being, and it's just kind of like this dynamic between the two, and it's a nice series. Like I think like the relationship is cute. The whole fact that it's not like this, it doesn't seem like they're trying to play into a romantic aspect, but I mean I can see it turning
kind of developing, kind of you get hints of it.
Yeah, it's more of like a, right now it's just like a cute like friendly atmosphere, and you can see that the two characters really care for each other. And I don't know, like if you want like a sort of feel good series, this is one of them. And like the main girl, Sayu, I think she's a very likable character. She like clearly has made mistakes, and like it's I would just recommend reading it. Like I don't want to like spoil too much with like stuff that happens, but it's very uplifting.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
The name that we have in English, I Shaved, Then I Brought Home a High School Girl, sounds it sounds odd. Like you said, it sounds kind of like lewd sounding. Is there something lost in translation where like for us it's like I brought this person home? You know, the kind of the way we talk, it's like you brought them home. You know what I mean? Is there like in the translation, is it like I literally brought a high school girl to my home with no other connotation? Whereas is that like lost in translation
question.
Or hold on,
or is it meant to be kind of a play on?
So the Japanese name is Hige Osoru Soshite Joshikosei o Hiro. So it literally translates to the same thing.
That's what I mean. Like, is there a different connotation on the word versus like our words? You know what I mean? Like for us, we say I brought someone home, and the connotation is like you bring them home, you sleep with them, kind of thing. Is this for them? It's literally just I brought this person to my home. There's no other connotation. That's what I mean. But
you would have to ask a native speaker of Japanese. I don't know.
I don't know any, so I guess I'll never know.
I don't know if hiro is like has another connotation. I mean,
I was just curious.
I would say I could look it up, but that would take too much time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna just assume that it doesn't have connotation, but you never know.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. It's ongoing. There's only 11 chapters out, I think, right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very good. I've caught up on Saki. It's been a while since
Oh really? Huh?
yeah, since I've been reading it, because like the the author of this manga has been super on and off, but I think um, his or her editors have really been on them for like releasing chapters because they would always get sick and not release a chapter every month. So
I'm sure.
we're finally getting through the freaking first round of the of the of the finals. We're getting through the Vanguard match, nearing the end of it. Finally, it's been like how many years since like this whole nationals arc has started, but it's getting interesting. The characters are likable. If you like the sort of sports anime tournament arc type type series, then what's better than girls Yuri girls doing magical mahjong?
Yuri girls playing mahjong.
Yes. So Yuri girls not wearing any underwear and having ridiculously wrong proportions.
Edgy.
So yeah, I've been catching up on that and the two. Oh, my camera just turned off. The two spin-off series, which is Toki and Shinohayu. So hold on, I'm turning on my backup.
Just giant Alec.
The the last couple I have on here. So if you haven't read Nico wa Tsurayo, it's basically about this girl that she's a NEET and is like kind of struggling with like assimilating into society, and it kind of like really it like shows the struggles of like someone that like can't assimilate into like the, I wouldn't say the real world, but just like the working world, is still kind of stuck in trying to just like live her life lazing around playing
like
games.
a recommended list. Maybe I'll add it as well.
It's good. It will make you feel a little bit sad and depressed when some of the stuff that happens to her, and I don't know, it's another like sort of cute series for like some of the stuff that happens and like kind of how like supportive her family is, like despite like her mother like pushing her to like go out and like get a job and stuff, but they're like really supportive about it because they know that like she's experienced like a sort of trauma in terms of like the job hunt, and like she has social anxiety a little bit, so like that's what's kind of helped, or not helped, but like prevented her from getting a job. And so it's comedic, there's a bunch of different aspects, but it does try and help delve into the world of someone that like is not employed in, I don't know the whole is like not employed something in training, whatever the NEET stands for, but she's a cute character, her family is really nice and supportive, and it's an overall cute series. And then last on here is I have mentioned last week, but I've been reading the Oriski manga, and I think it's better than the actual anime. But I think so far the anime has done like an okay job, although we can talk about the second episode like coming up here. But I do enjoy the manga a little bit more. All right. Well,
wait, hold on. I have one more show one more series that I just remembered I started the other day.
Okay. What is it?
And this is the complete opposite of those feel-good shows. It's called Miyaruko-chan, or The Girl That Sees Them. So there's about two volumes out right now, and it's a pretty good horror series.
The Girl That
It's
Sees
pretty crazy.
Them. What are them?
So Miyaruko-chan is able to just see like demons, ghosts like everywhere, but nobody else can see them.
That sounds awful.
And they're like,
that sounds terrible.
They're really, really creepy. And she just chooses to ignore them. uh, just because
Sounds
when
like
she
Kisei.
like at times like kind of acknowledges them, they get like really kind of aggressive or like super creepy. Um, but there's some pretty interesting elements to it, because it's like, is she attracting these spirits, or is it like her friend, or is she gonna get better? It's pretty interesting. I definitely think if you're into like kind of like horror or mystery stuff, you should read this, because this is beginning to be really good. So again, it's called Myaruko-chan.
Reminds me of Chisei. Like the first
Chisei.
3 episodes of
Oh,
Ancient
yeah.
Magus' Bride,
Ancient Maid. Yeah,
where she got all the little monsters chasing her.
yeah, but this is like extreme, because it's like
Yeah.
she's like really cute and like friendly, but like that thing that's back there is like she just sees
Oh
the like
gosh.
those like all over the place, or
I
there's
just
like
meant
somebody
in
who like,
that she sees them. That was it.
yeah,
Like,
like
Not
she,
the,
Alex,
yeah,
like,
just
don't
literally
show me
nothing
that.
else. Yeah.
like she's sitting in a train, and there's this like person who is like going around and like slashing somebody. It's like a ghost.
Oh my gosh, what the...
And like, nobody else sees this thing, or like, acknowledges that it's happening, and it just keeps getting closer and closer to her, and she's like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen to me, like if he can touch me, like am I gonna die? Yeah, it's good. It's a good series.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
wraps up Mark's Margaritaville. Now,
Yeah.
moving on to our Orishiri segment. So we've got Cowboy Bebop episodes 3 and 4. Episode
Yeah.
3 titled Honky Tonk Women, and episode 4 titled Gateway Shuffle. So this is basically where we meet Faye Valentine, a very important character in this series.
A girl who is made up 66% of her body by legs.
Yes, yeah, that is correct.
Literally, like, if I had legs to here and then my torso was the rest.
That is correct.
It's just weird.
This is true.
As is the animation style of the era. But I don't know. Faye is one of the more enjoyable characters in this series, and especially just her interactions with Spike,
Mm-hmm.
because they kind of like butt heads a lot. They're very like very strong personalities, and so like seeing their interactions is very entertaining. So like, Alec, I know you haven't seen Cowboy Bebop before. Like, what did you think of Faye's character and kind of how they introduced her?
I was interested. Like when they introduced her, she kind of had an interesting, not like backstory, because they didn't really give her a backstory like right away, but they showed enough of her to like kind of make you interested in, like, because she has this huge debt. They never really said how much it was or how she got it. And all of her motivations were really kind of like, oh, I'm gonna get paid, let's do this, I don't know. So I thought it was pretty interesting to meet her. I thought she was a fun character. And like normally when characters, I don't know why, not normally, but sometimes when characters do the thing where they like leverage the position they're in, and they're like, well, I'll take the 60%. When they're flying through the gateway, and he's like, all right, 40%. And she's like, I'll take the 60%. And he's just like, fine. I don't know. I thought that was more comical. Whereas in other shows, I'm like, God, that's annoying. Like,
Yeah.
certain animes don't do it in a way where it's just like, that just ruined it for me. Like, stop. And so I thought it didn't hurt the situation, which was, I think, probably because the character has been built in a way where you're like, well, that's expected. I don't know, but I enjoyed her character. I'm interested to find out more about her as the series goes on. I want to find out more about the doggo.
Oh, about Ein.
I'm still interested about the doggo.
Ein is the best.
He popped
He is
up.
the best.
She's like trying to leave, and he's just like, arf, arf.
He's like, "Arr."
Sitting there like,
just like, I
waiting
know you're
for
trying
her.
to leave. Like,
I've
fool.
been expecting you. Like,
Statistics told me that you would come here. 96% chance.
What do you think about the format so far of the series? It's like, it's not like, it's very episodic, and it's not like a typical series that you would see nowadays.
No, I think it's kind of refreshing because it isn't like a typical series that you'd see now. I've seen other episodic shows and I didn't like them. I can't really think of them. I just remember I've seen some and been kind of like, this isn't that fun. But I think this one does it really well. Because it's not just like, it is kind of like Monster of the Week, but not. You know what I mean? Like they've got this new kind of thing, but they do it in a way that feels somehow joined together. Like the world all feels cohesive, where sometimes the episodic thing is like such a shift, you know, from one thing to the next. And you keep getting these new characters that kind of span over it. And it seems like you're learning more about Spike. You're learning, what's the guy with the cyborg shit and arm? What's his
Jet.
name? Jet. You're kind of like getting little bits and pieces as you go along, so it's kind of cool. But I like it. I like, you know, the style of it, how it's going so far. We'll see.
Mark.
Nice.
So I know it's been a while since the rest of us have seen this series, but what does it feel like watching all of this again?
It's fun. It's a good ride. Like like you said, I haven't seen this in years. It's been so long since I've seen it in its entirety. Like I've seen like random episodes here and there. And I started started trying to do a rewatch of it like last year, I think sometime. And I was trying to watch it in Japanese. So it felt different trying to get through it in Japanese. But watching the dub again is just so nostalgic. Just because you get to see all these characters that you know have grown to love and so have been like a great series for a long time. And it just gets me thinking about like how cool Faye's introduction, like her first character introduction was. Like she just walks into a bar and just turns around and just like blasts some fools. I was like, yo, that's badass. Like it just gets you a little peek into how cool her character is. And like you said, the interactions like early on between Spike and Faye are really cool because they are like have kind of very like somewhat similar personalities, like very strong-willed and hard-headed, but they seem to almost like click in a way just because they are very alike. It's cool. It's cool seeing the early stages of the show again.
Yeah, and like we mentioned the English dub on this a lot, but like it is like very good for an English dub. And one of the moments I remember is from Honky Tonk Women. Faye confronts Spike and is like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to give me the chip." And he goes like, what are you talking about? Like, you've been cheating the whole game and I didn't say anything." And then everyone in the crowd is like reacting to it, and like their reactions are super hilarious because they're like, "Oh, what? Oh, no wonder I'm broke." Like, you know, like the stuff they say is like really funny, and it's just like it's funny that like you get stuff like that. Like for some reason, like in this era, there was like the dub quality was different than kind of what you saw afterwards. I think like I'm not sure positive on this, but like I feel like there was maybe like a little bubble like back when like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z were out, where they spent a little bit more on like the budgets for the English dubbing for these shows like this, like Gundam Wing and like Dragon Ball Z, you know, like the series that were out in the era. And then like it kind of fell off as popularity in anime in general kind of fell off as well.
Is it
And
were less shows on like Toonami and stuff?
Yeah.
Did Cartoon Network put out some of that money?
I
want to
I don't know.
I want to say that it was more about like being so selective in shows that got dubbed. I mean, it's still kind of like that now, but like more the shows that are being dubbed are like the popular shows, of course. But like there, of course, are like multiple studios, and there's a lot more voice actors now. That it's maybe.
Oh, hold on. I think I got kicked out again, Mark.
You did. I got you.
So it's maybe like a little bit easier to get a show dubbed.
I'd try to fix it, but
yeah, rather than like, you know, shows back then where it was like you're very selective. about what gets dubbed and if it's worth it and if it's like worth watching. Especially if you're gonna have like people who want to watch it. So yeah, of course, like I feel back then you get shows like Dragon Ball and Cowboy Bebop or like Sailor Moon. You know, these shows that have like these classic American voice actors, and it just seems so natural to like for us, you know, as American viewers to rewatch these shows or to feel this nostalgic connection to it. I don't know. I feel like it's not so much the same nowadays. Like we still have a lot of those famous voice actors and actresses, um, but I don't know if people still feel that connection towards, you know, certain shows now,
What do you mean?
like dubbed shows now.
There's definitely a group of the community that is really into English dubs. And they follow the English voice actors and actresses. So it's there's definitely like a taste thing, like whatever your tastes are.
Sure.
I haven't followed too much into English dubbing other than like, you know, some of the video game dubs that I enjoy, but I not anything in anime. I watch everything subbed.
Watch dub just because. I mean, I've wanted to do this too. It's like sometimes I'd much rather watch a dub because I don't want to read. And like I wanna like sit there and wash dishes or, you know, like do something else while I can, because I can hear it. I can turn away, do something. Whereas here I'm like read.
You know, when I really want to watch a dub is when I'm like laying down. And I don't want to like I have to turn my head a little bit just to see a little bit.
Yeah.
I can't read.
You have to. You're like this, and you're like, I gotta turn slightly more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little crick in my neck, and I'm like, oh man, I just.
And that's why I have my iPad, and I just turn it, and I hold it. I'm like, oh, there we go.
Perfect. I want to watch it on the big screen, you know.
I want to
watch the Demon Slayer on the big screen.
So instead of having it here, just put them off to the side. Just turn your TV.
I know. Just going laterally across the TV.
No, I get what you mean. Like sometimes you just want to have something in the background, but if it's in a language that you don't understand, then you're gonna be like, oh, now there's just noise in the background, and I don't really know what's going on.
You're like, wow, that sounds so cool. I missed it. Let me rewind. Shit. And then you spend more time rewinding than if you had just been sitting there watching it.
Definitely done that.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, crap, I gotta go back.
I don't know what happened. Dang it.
Dang it. But well, you know, in to keep it consistent, Rolando, I have a specific question for you since you're kind of the resident audio person.
Oh, okay.
But actually, though, I have a question for both of you guys. In the episode in space, I thought it was really cool. I think like in comparison to a lot of shows that I watch nowadays, they seem to pay a really good attention to detail in the sound, because when he was in space, they like made it silent, and they kind of had that really quiet, just like not really like explosions or like, you know, noises, and he just kind of was floating, and it kind of really brought me into the scene, feeling like, oh, I'm out in space with him. And I think that like I've noticed that in other parts of the show, they seem to really pay attention to like the audio they use, and it immerses me into the show.
I think so this is just something that I've noticed in general with sound design and Japanese animation. They don't really fill everything. So and you kind of see this a little bit in films, like if you've seen like an Akira Kurosawa film, like they're very selective in what they do put in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of silence. So
sometimes there's just no sound at all. And this isn't something you would see in a typical film or TV show in the West, where everything is pushing towards a certain realism. So like even on a normal TV show here, like a narrative television show that you would find on like a CBS, ABC, NBC, that type of channel, like there will be like even just background air from a room just sitting there to help you kind of like but like feel the actual like realism of the scene, whereas a lot of times they don't even like have like some sort of like background like outdoor air in a park in like a Japanese animation. So
Mhm.
it could be that this sporadic sound design that they use isn't is just playing very well with the space aspect of the show. Like I see it as like a typical Japanese animation in terms of sound. Obviously, the sound effects and all of that are significantly older in
Yeah.
in quality,
Right.
but the the fact that they're not playing anything in space, hey, you're right. Like, there's not really anything in space. Usually, if you like compare it to something like Star Trek or Star Wars over here, they're filling
Or
they're
Gundam.
filling everything out with stuff that wouldn't happen in real life.
Right.
Like, if you're in space, it's a vacuum. There's no air, so
Right.
like a ship moving isn't gonna make a sound. But like the sound is what helps motivate the picture, is how storytelling goes, visual
Yeah.
storytelling. And
Yeah, I
so
was gonna say that.
if you don't have a sound there, there's something in your head that has this disconnect, despite the actual realism of like the space vacuum.
I liked
There's
it
no
in
air.
what is it?
Yeah.
2001: Space Odyssey, when it's just the ship
Yeah.
quiet.
And I mean, it's just something that we're attuned to in the West. Like, I'm just always reminded of when the Last Jedi aired. Theaters all over the place had to put an announcement that said there's a certain scene in the film that there's no sound, and this is a creative choice. Don't please stop telling the theater that their sound system is broken. Like it was
Yeah, that happened
it was a
recently
creative
with
choice.
that happened recently with Star Wars. During the last movie,
Yeah, the Last Jedi. Yeah.
the Last Jedi, yeah, where there was that explosion and sound just like cut out.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought that was like an amazing choice and like usage of that just of that lack of sound.
Yeah.
But I heard a lot of people like were like
They
getting
were
like about to
confused.
get up and like and say
Yeah.
something.
And that's just, we've been attuned to like hearing sound in a
People
certain
are
way
stupid.
that like I said, sound motivates motivates the action. So it like we've been kind of put into this perspective that like if something happens on the screen, it needs to have a sound, and that's not always the case in like Japanese film and like animation. So I think it does end up playing well in this aspect because it is space and they can be more sporadic like that. But in general, there's a lot of times where like just pay attention to some of the other shows you watch this season, see how much they fill in sound design wise. They may not like have anything playing because you may just start playing an episode, you see things going on, like maybe they're on a plane, you don't hear a plane, like the background like rumble of the air inside of a plane or anything, you don't hear anything. That's typical.
Interesting.
Just like pay attention to it next time.
Yeah, I definitely will look out for that.
Yeah,
I thought that you said I mean, like these are things that like you don't really notice, like just as like a Western audience, it just seems like, oh, I just want to hear them talking, like, and that's fine, that's all I need. But I'm sure there's like little things, like little details, like the rumbling of a plane or sounds outside in a park or something that you don't quite you may like pick up on or kind of miss, but I mean it's not like it's like a huge deal if it's not there. Just that lack of it is something that
I mean, I think it's cool. I think the reason I noticed it in this case was because I don't think we always need sound for everything. I guess I like you said with the recent Star Wars, when they have those silent moments, I think it is cool and it adds something to the film and it makes it really impactful in its own silent way, where you don't always need like an explosion sound or this or that, or like I've seen some things where it's like they have really impactful scenes, it's just someone walking but there's no footstep sounds, and it's just them like walking, but it's like really ominous in the way they do that because there is no sound. I don't know. So I think it's cool when they when I notice these things. So I'll keep a lookout on the next ones for like missing sounds and see.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be like, oh,
I
didn't like it here. I did like it there.
Yeah. I will say on the subject of like sound, I guess the use of music in this show, which is one of the reasons why I absolutely love this show, is just so on point. It really sets a mood for like what's happening. I don't know. I can't say enough that I love the music in this show.
Oh
The
yeah,
music is dope.
The
They-
soundtrack.
they even
It's
talk
amazing.
about in Honky Tonk Whippin', like
Yeah.
they're talking about Charlie Parker, and then he's just
Yeah, I
like
know.
it, like
Had
so
a
if-
dream. He's like, that doesn't make any sense.
like if you're not like if you're not like big like jazz fans, then like the references to like the jazz musicians and everything will kind of like go over your head, but like they just like they're very like it's very stylized and it's cool, like the references they make, and like they even like make references to like certain like philosophy and philosophers. I don't know, like just it's very well done.
Just so
Yeah.
you know, Charlie Parker is a jazz French horn player.
My man.
See who picks up on that.
No,
The actual truth.
The
he got the jazz right.
he's a jazz French horn. That's who he is.
He's a jazz French horn. Him
Famous jazz
himself.
French horn.
Yeah.
Classic. Like Lucille.
Yeah.
Like Lucille. Yeah.
But
Beethoven. The classic
anyways,
piano.
look, I mean, there's a lot of jazz references and philosophical references in the show, and it's, I don't know, it's fun. I see in chat here, David says this is how far he got. Well, we are all rewatching it, David, so feel free to rewatch with us. We're watching episodes 5 and 6 next.
Next, yes, for next week. Watch along.
So, moving on, we've kind of we have just whatever remaining shows we're watching this season. There have been a lot of premieres. Episode 2 of Oriski has come out. So, what do you guys think of the second episode?
I'm gonna make a little note here. Cut me some slack. Forgot to watch it.
All right. Well, Mark, what did you think of this episode?
I'm trying not to spoil.
Here, I'll do this.
Oh, he's pulling his
Wave
headphones
at me
off.
when you're ready.
I feel like I don't know if we mentioned it or if I had this conversation with my brother, because he's also watching it, and he likes it, but he also said he's not sure if like the gimmicks have already been done. And maybe it was Drew that mentioned it.
No.
Or you, Rolanda. I don't remember. But essentially, we had the great twist at the end of the first episode. Second episode, we get like another twist that we're like kind of expecting at this point. Didn't expect for it to happen so soon, but at now it's kind of like, where is this gonna go? Is there just gonna be like another twist? Is there really gonna? I know that like in the OP they've hinted at other people, like there's like 2 other girls, I think.
The OP and the ending spoil shit that
spoils a lot.
happens.
I'm sure.
Like, it spoils a big plot point that you find out in the next couple of episodes.
Great. So like now
Hold on,
what's
you got cut out for a second. Say it again.
it's like now at this point, like I'm not sure about the direction. It's gonna be weird. I don't know. I'm a little hesitant going forward now. I still think it's funny. But
All right.
I don't know.
It's good to see what you think about it, because now, like, I have a lot of issues with the second episode in terms of how rushed it is. And so it's like I said, I saw the first episode last week, and then I ended up reading all of what's available of the manga, and I was like, wow, that's way different than what they showed in the anime. And then playing or going through the second episode, I'm like, wait, they're really going. I thought they were gonna have a whole nother episode before they go through this. And then like halfway through the episode, I'm like, oh fuck, they're gonna go through it now. Like, but they skipped a lot of like character development and like and all this stuff. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe like there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff with Sunchan that you just miss that they show explicitly in the manga. And it will make sense next episode, but like now I want to know what you say next episode, because you might be like, well, that came out of nowhere. That kind of like, and the way things kind of play out is also significantly different from the manga. So like, I know they're trying to get into the meat of it because it's only 12 episodes, but part of me is just a little disappointed because I feel like they could have done it better. But I also know that wasting 4 episodes and essentially a third of the series for basically the introduction and like the main crux of everything is a little too much. But like, I also want to see what you guys say about the series after the fact, because there's some stuff that happens that I was kind of like, really, like, we're okay with this, but whatever.
I'm safe.
Essentially, yeah.
I see.
But yeah, I'm glad you kind of see it this way, Mark, because I was disappointed having. Oh, am I disconnected?
You were disconnected.
Okay.
I was listening to you on stream. I do have my reservations about the direction of the series.
At least I got it relatively quickly.
I think it's still like kind of funny, but I'm not sure if they're gonna keep like rushing things. I hope not, because I think that there's like some promise in the series, just because of like all the kind of like little flips on the genre itself that it does, which is kind of like what tied me to it initially, was that twist, because I'm not always like a big fan of like the harem rom-com like full of tropey series like this was starting out to be.
Yeah. And that's why like I'm interested to see what you guys think about it in the next couple of episodes, because like stuff happens and you're like, wait, we're really going to be just like okay with this, and then things are moving on. All right. Like
okay.
Me personally, I was like,
right.
I already had certain feelings about like the characters and was like, all right, I guess like it's already set in stone that like we have these characters. So I don't know. Like, we'll see. Next episode's definitely going to be juicy.
All right.
So like,
okay.
Stuff is going to happen. So Alec, I would recommend catching up.
On Orisuki?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna watch it. I just honestly, with moving, I completely forgot about it. So,
but
I will watch 2 before next week.
If you like the series, so far, I would recommend reading the manga.
Based off what you said, I was thinking about reading it after last week, but
it's done a bit better. Like I said, there is a little gripe I have with what happens. But I mean, what's translated so far into English doesn't even cover all of the girls that are on the key visual art. So I don't know what. Yeah, I don't.
All the grills.
Interesting.
Like obviously, there's more covered in the actual Japanese, but
sure.
Yeah. So moving on from that. I know Drew really wanted to talk about Chubio. I've only seen the first episode and was kind of wary about continuing. Mark, you've seen?
I saw the first episode.
Which one's
it was funny.
Chubio.
Yeah, which one's that one?
Chubio. The girl joins a new school, and she's like kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Unlucky.
accidentally falls accidentally falls into being associated with like this really weird group of kids that all have like very different quirks
is
to
it
them.
the one with the different guys? They all do weird things. Oh, okay,
yeah, they have all got
watched that one.
Chunibyo.
Yeah, they've all got Chunibyo, and they think that she's like the ultimate Chunibyo character too, just because she has an eye patch.
Yeah.
Wait, does she actually have an eye patch?
Yeah, she had an eye infection, so she.
An eye infection.
Okay,
so
I was
it's
like,
very
is this supposed to be a
unfortunate.
playoff?
No, not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's like subtle hints that like she may have like some
Special
sort of power. I don't know. Like it was funny. Like it had some funny moments. But I can see this like turning down like sour really quickly. So
yeah. I mean, Drew really likes it. I mean, after the first episode, I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue watching it. More so than Kabukicho Sherlock. And like Kabukicho Sherlock, I want to at least give 3 episodes. This one, like, I don't even know if I want to watch episode 2.
I might just watch episode 2 and make my decision. I don't even know if I'll make it to 3. If I like episode 2, maybe it'll probably be one of those like just one episode and see if it starts getting like way too much, I'll probably drop it.
Yeah, like just the characters are a little too much for me. It's a little too much eccentricism that I'm like, it just feels old. Like it just feels like being a dead horse with the gags.
Yeah, it's like too flashy with like the comedic gags. Yep.
Well, moving on from that, has everyone seen the first episode of Food Wars 4th Plate?
Mm-hmm.
I did not.
Mark did not.
I have read this, so you guys can talk about it.
Basically, we go straight into the next round of the Shokugeki between Central and the Rebels.
The recap was like 20 seconds long.
Yeah, it just
like,
went
we're
straight
in the
into it.
Shokugeki, and we're in the second round, and we need to figure out what to do. And then they just went into it, and I was like, wow, what a recap. Whoa.
Yeah, I had to look up like what happened for a little bit because I was like, fuck, what happened? It's been like almost a year. Like
it was the crazy Soba, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the previous round or whatever.
And I'm just like, fuck, what happened? Like, wait, Hayama's in the cage too? Like, wait, did he lose before? It's like, oh yeah, he lost to Soma in the bear cooking thing. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, now I remember. Yeah. But, I mean, it's good that they just kind of put you straight back into the action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I was going to ask how you guys felt about that, like, not having a half of an episode recap.
I was glad. I didn't want to have a half of episode recap when I can just go back and watch that previous episode. Like, I mean, and even still, like, I hadn't forgotten that much because honestly, like, I was gonna say I haven't forgotten that much important information because there really wasn't all that much important information that you need to remember about last season. I don't know, they're fighting against the system. They're in the middle of a Shokugeki to take control of the school. There you go. They're gonna win in the end. Like,
in the end, I still have issues with the overall plot.
Yeah.
For this show, and
like
how it's kind of come to this, it just seems very, just forced.
Contrived.
It's pandering to tournament arc. Hype.
Basically, yeah. Like,
I didn't like the pace. I got bored. It felt like it was trying to go fast, and I didn't like that. I got bored because it was like, we're here, we're chopping Szechuans, and we're clothes flying off. Oh my god, look at this thing. Oh, and then we're gonna go make ramen. Point finger. Oh, we got him. Oh, smashing. I'm like, you're just literally ding 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 ding. I'm like, this. I didn't like it.
It's sad.
Didn't like this show.
Because like I like certain characters. Like I like Rindo. I like Alice. I like
Alice
Megumi's character. Soma's a funny character. I feel like Erina, is that her name?
The God Tongue girl?
Yeah, God Tongue. I feel like she should be a better character, and like I want to like her character, but like
just
they just made her a damsel in distress for no reason.
Yeah, out of nowhere when she's not like
she's not. She was a strong character before.
Yeah,
with a strong personality, and it's just like, oh, but she's weak to her father because her father is like a fucking weird snake character. Like he honestly just looks like and is a snake. Like his personality is a snake. He's boring and one tone. Like
yeah, he's a shitty character.
He's a shitty character. He's a shitty villain.
He's a villain they created out of like just to purely fit a role as like just like, oh, we have to have someone that's evil. Just make him basic. And they just made a basic evil guy. They didn't.
This is like your Sword Art Online villain.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh, yep, here's a villain. Ah, thank you. That was exactly how. That was perfect. I was like, how do I say this? He's a Sword Art Online villain.
Yeah, that's what he is, though.
He is. No, I agree. I 100% agree. I just didn't think of it.
Yeah, like you said, he's just like he's there for just written as a villain, like just to fit the role of a villain. Yeah, plot device.
They're like, we need a bad guy. Make a bad guy.
You guys gotta strap in for the levels of shonen that this series is gonna go into.
And just good or bad? He just nods.
He's not gonna say. He's like,
good or bad.
If I say bad, then they're gonna stop watching it.
I can't stop watching it at this point.
Like, I can't stop watching it at this point.
4 seasons in. I can't stop.
I'm not like Drew, who's gonna not watch the last episode of Hanebado because
I'm just gonna say, like, I watched like 9 episodes of King's Game, and by that point I was like, this is hot garbage. This is so bad. But I've watched 9 episodes. I can't stop now. Like I'm on a train and it's full momentum with no brakes and everything is broken. We going. This train is not stopping.
You're about to just make it fit.
Yeah,
just
we are gonna make it fit just
Oh my
because.
God.
Wow, I love the reference.
If you want to get that reference, please listen to our brew shot that released earlier this week.
Make it fit just because.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's nice is that we are confirmed for 25 episodes for this season.
Well, I hope it's.
And it's not going to be split into part 1 and part 2 like the last season was.
I feel like that's a lot for the rest of the tournament. I'm assuming.
No, it's a show.
No, I think they're going to finish. I think they're going to finish the manga.
No, the manga went like way past the tournament, I think.
Yeah, they're gonna.
I feel like they're gonna finish. This is the last season of Shokugeki we're getting.
You think so?
I think so.
I dropped it after this arc, so
I don't want.
I don't even know
after this. Can we just let it die?
What happened after this?
I don't want more. I want to stop watching this. It takes up a slot in my anime watching time. And there's only so many slots.
It's entertaining to watch, though. Like it's still the characters that you mentioned are still entertaining. It's got
Anime Iron Chef.
I'd rather watch a new show that's better.
All right, we'll get a new show.
Azur Lane.
Exactly.
You know what? Azur Lane might be better than this.
It's got characters that you like, and it's fun to watch.
It's got lots of plot.
Got tons of plot.
Yeah.
So much plot.
Lots of plot.
Tons of plot.
That's for sure.
It's got choose your own waifu adventure. Like
it's got tons of plot devices. It's got 2 on each character.
It's got best girl in there. Belfast. You know what I mean? Like it's great. Azur Lane's a ton.
Speaking of Azur Lane, why don't we talk about Azur Lane? So Mark hasn't seen episode 2, I believe, right?
Yeah, sorry. I was very busy last week.
What about you, Alec?
Trip for a wedding.
No.
Have you seen the first episode?
No. I was also very busy last week packing my apartment.
Oh, he was moving.
He was moving.
Yeah.
He just moved.
I did.
If you just noticed, he doesn't have a bed behind him anymore.
I don't.
Is that a different wall back there? It looks different.
Yeah, it's a different wall.
Nice looking wall you got there,
That's
kid.
That's a good wall. It's solid.
That's a good wall.
That's a good wall. I'm gonna write on it. Good wall.
Good wall.
Yeah, I moved Saturday. So 2 days.
If you, who knows? Maybe we'll talk about Azur Lane for like 2 minutes every podcast.
Yeah.
Just see. Who's trending? Who's trending in the ship waifus?
Yeah.
That's
Who's
a good-
trending
that's a good-
amongst
we
our?
should-
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Bring back our waifu tier list for the
Yeah.
week.
We'll
Well,
bring back the
only three
waifu
of
tier
us.
lists.
Only three
and
of us.
Drew will refuse to rate any of them because
too
tier
soon.
lists don't
It's too
change
soon.
ever. They don't change ever.
It's too soon. It's too soon.
You can't have first impressions on anybody.
No. That's impossible.
It's impossible to have any impressions on anyone.
I've never had an impression on anyone ever. Not even after. Like,
Oh,
I'm just like,
Oh, wow.
even
impression?
after 4 years of
No.
knowing someone, Alec can't have any impressions on them.
No. I mean, I don't know
It's a
anything about you
disease.
guys. I've known you guys for a long time, and I have no impressions of you.
It's
every
a
day
disease.
I'm like, who
Nice.
are you? Are you?
He-
No.
I don't
He's
know.
got it's called
New experience every week.
it's called emotional apathy. It's a very terrifying disease that he has.
It's truly frightening. It scares me
It's-
every night.
truly.
Yeah.
Every night, I was born with
Yeah, every night he has an apathetic seizure.
I was born with glass bones and paper skin. Every night I break my legs, and every morning I break my arms.
Oh no.
SpongeBob? Have you got no?
Well,
love
moving on, the last few shows here. Beastars, have you guys seen the first episode of this?
Yeah, I watched that. I watched that today. It's good, man. I like it.
I
it
have to
good?
say, this is a very interesting series. It is not what I expected. I know we're gonna cover this for our third 3-episode rule of the season next week, but I just want to say before we go in depth on it next week, I had zero expectations for this show coming into it, and then I watched it. I was like, oh wow, this show is a lot more than what more than meets the eye. There's a lot more to it.
Yeah, Transformers.
Transformers.
Transformers, yes.
But with animals, there we go.
Oh, Beast Wars.
Beast Wars. Yeah, Beast Wars.
Yeah.
It's I actually really like the use of the CGI in this. I think it's done pretty well. The use of lighting, the character movements don't feel like they sometimes they look a little bit clunky, but I think I kind of attribute that to just them being like animals and just kind of like lumbering. Like some of the big characters look like they move with weight, and the smaller characters just kind of move like regular animals kind of in a sense. Yeah, the use of music is good. The drama that's happening, the class shift between carnivores and herbivores. It's a very
Is that what you're gonna say?
The Orbivores.
Carnivores and herbivores.
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 Orbiters.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a good show. I highly recommend it. I think that everyone should watch this show. I think this is a good one. At least give it a shot and see if you like it.
Yeah. Definitely give the first episode a shot. Like if the first episode doesn't convince you, then I don't think 3 will. But I think the first episode alone is enough to convince you if you will enjoy the series or not. It convinced
check it
me
out.
for sure. So more on that next week. That will be our third 3-episode rule series to cover. So next, Fire Force came back. More into the 7th squad, and now there's a conflict where the evangelist people are I guess they have the ability to look like other people and pretend trick people with their camouflage, I guess.
Chameleon.
Yeah. You've read past this, right, Mark?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
What did you think of this, Alec?
I didn't see it.
All right.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well,
I
with
missed
minimal
multiple-
spoilers for you,
Here,
there's
I
a
can-
conflict that happens between 7th and 8th.
No, you can.
No, you can put your headphones on. I'm just saying there's no, you can put your headphones on.
What?
Put your headphones on.
Oh,
He's
wow.
like,
No, no,
he's like,
I said with
turning
minimal
on.
spoilers, there's a conflict that happens between the 7th and 8th squads,
Oh, okay.
and we're getting more insight into that.
That'd be cool. That sounds cool. I'm gonna watch that tonight.
So we'll cover that more next week. My Hero Academia came back, season 4. It's kind of a filler episode, but I feel
Yes.
like it's going to be important.
Speaking of, Speaking of recap episodes where they go into every character that's in the class, I'm not gonna lie, I skipped through a lot of it.
Oh, they like recapped who people were and what they did.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it. I
Mm-hmm.
missed a lot of anime this past week.
That's fine.
I think it's going to be important. Mark, you obviously know more since you've read it.
I
But
do know.
I feel like this relationship between Deku and the reporter guy is going to be important, especially from what we've seen. That now that Toga has, now I can say this because Drew's not here. But like now that we know that Toga has some of Deku's blood, like I feel like the League of Villains is going to try and use that to make him look bad, because she can turn into him. Mark's not going to say anything because he don't want to spoil it, but I feel like the trust he has put into this reporter will kind of be like his beacon of light. That's my impression. I don't know anything.
I have to watch it.
You gotta watch it.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah,
I do.
I'm excited. I keep saying that, but I'm very excited for this season.
I was excited for all the seasons, Mark. You're not a true fan.
That's
oh
good.
Wow. Well, calling you out.
I like them.
Well, anyways, have you guys seen any other series premieres so far?
Trying to think. I had my queue up here.
Let's see.
Pull out that Annie chart real quick.
Vinland Saga, but I'm not caught up.
Yeah,
I want to watch Pet, but we don't know.
Yeah, Babylon. That's the mystery show. I watched the first 2 episodes. The first episode has a really good cliffhanger. So I like had to watch the second episode because I was like, oh, where's this gonna go? And it's actually pretty good. It's very slow, I think, but I think that's kind of what you want out of a good like mystery show. The first couple minutes of it, I was a little bit unsure of the first episode, but I think it's starting to pick up. So that might be worth giving like the 3 episode rule if you're into mystery and kind of suspense shows.
All right, I'm gonna look at that one then.
Which one?
Yeah, so the first 3 episodes are out
Babylon.
of Babylon. First 3 episodes are out. And there's going to be, I think, like a 2-week break from this point now. So I think it comes back at the end of this month.
Is that on Crunchyroll?
No.
No? Okay.
It is not.
It is not.
No.
I've seen the first episode of Cautious Hero. It seems pretty, like the comedic style seems a little bit more like a Western cartoon. But like I'm not really sure how I feel about it in general. It seems like a little too generic. Assassin's Pride, the first episode was okay. It seems like there's a cool setting they put behind it, but I'm not sure. I might just give it 3 episodes and see what it's like. No Gun's Life actually surprised me a little bit with the first episode.
Ooh.
Have you seen it?
I want to watch that. No, I want to watch that tonight actually.
No Gun's Life seems interesting to me. That's something that I will for sure give at least 3 episodes.
Yeah. Premise itself is, and from that preview is just, I have to watch it.
Yeah, like it seems like it's gonna delve into some like interesting stuff, and it does have like some sort of like a mystery suspense drama vibe. It seems like it's worth 3 episodes at least.
Cool.
Bokuben season 2. I'm the only one watching this. I think that Bokuben got really good at the end of the first season, and I still enjoy the second season. So, it is the one of the rom-com harems that I think is decent, on par with something like World God Only Knows. But I know Drew fucking hates that show, so he's not gonna like this show apparently. Are you watching that? Was it High School Students Have It Easy in Another World, or whatever? Geniuses Have It Easy in Another World.
I watched the first episode. Don't know if I'll continue it. It just seemed
weird,
too ridiculous. Yeah.
That mouth feeding scene.
Yeah.
That almost vomited.
I was eating something and I was like,
Oh my god.
no,
I almost vomited.
Please stop.
You guys talked about that, and I chose to not go look up what anime you were talking about, so I will not be watching that one.
Before it happened,
the second episode is okay.
Is it okay?
You have to come into it knowing it's an isekai, and also
I like isekais.
knowing like it's the characters themselves are very quirky, but they're not hateable. Like in fact, like I think the ninja character is cool, or I think the ninja character is just cute, and then I really like what the second episode focuses on the financial genius dude, and like his character is really likable. In my opinion.
Okay, that's cool. He seemed like the one that I was kind of questionable about because I was like, really, like what's he actually gonna do there?
He's really smart,
but he seemed like he was like an interesting character though.
Yeah, this isn't a show I would give any sort of acclaim for. I just think it's good enough to watch for at least 3 episodes.
Okay.
I watched
Hatage
the first
Kemonomichi
of Alicization.
Oh, you did?
It's a recap.
Oh.
It's called Reflection, and it's literally just, you know how Sword Art Online is. This is what happened. This is how we feel about it. It's just a bunch of useless stuff. Another one came out though. I think like yesterday or the day before. I haven't watched it.
See, I'm not sure if I want to catch up on Sword Art Online because I have to watch the movie and then all of season 1 of Alicization.
I have not watched the movie.
And I did not like the way the last season of SAO ended.
Which one was that? The Gun Gale?
No, there was that. I forgot. But I'm talking about the one where Yuki, she's the one in the hospital.
I don't remember.
She's in the hospital and can't like move, so her personality is in the game with them.
Oh, I think I don't know if I watched.
She's got like, the way Drew would describe it is she has mega AIDS is how he would put it.
Mark.
She has this severe illness that prevents her from being able to be, like, she's in a coma. Like I think she's in a medically induced coma to keep her alive.
I see.
Oh wow.
But her mind is in the game that they're all playing in Alfame Online.
I just lost the game.
Fuck.
I just lost the game.
Well, Hatage Kemonomichi is kind of funny. I don't really know if I'm going to keep watching that.
Just, I didn't watch that series or the movie before watching Alicization.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it made sense.
It did make sense.
It follows a different pattern. Like, there may be things in the real world that go back to those other ones, but when they're in that world, he essentially loses all his memories and is a new person. They like erase his memories, so he's a beta tester in this world, and he thinks he actually was born in this video game
Kirito
world. Yeah, and then he'll be in there for like years of time in their time, but it's like 3 days or whatever in outside time, and then they pull him out and he remembers everything, and he doesn't remember anything from the world, but when he's in the world he doesn't remember anything from outside of the world.
Wait, so he can go back into it and it's the same thing?
Yeah, he goes back into it and he's the same person in the world, but he doesn't remember anything from the real world. And then I don't know, they like erase it, they like block off the memories, like with some ninja jutsu, mind jutsu. But then he gets so do you remember the gun one? That guy, the villain from the gun one, who's Death Guy, he comes back. Death Gun, yeah. The guy, he injects Kirito, and then that's where the crux of the thing comes. He injects him with the poison, and to save him, they shove him into that world.
Wait, what? I thought... I'm confused. Because I thought they caught him in Gun Gale Online.
Yeah.
I don't remember how he got out or if he didn't get caught, but I think they never caught the one of them. And so he's like coming after Kirito, and he injects him with the little thing, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And the only way to save him is to put him into that other world.
All right.
Yeah. To keep his mind.
I don't know if you're really convincing me to watch this now.
I don't know. The world part, the way he gets into the world is stupid as fuck, but the world itself was kind of cool to watch.
All right. So
I'd say only watch it if you're interested, not like it's not a need. It's not a need. No, it's not a need.
Didn't I say to make my abilities average in the in my next life? That one is more of a slice of life isekai. It's a little funny. It's not for everyone for sure. There's a Iruma-kun from Demon School. That one has somewhat of a Hayate no Gotoku vibe, according from the first episode. I don't
know what that
know
means.
if I want to keep watching it. It just seems like typical.
Yeah, I watched the first episode and I was
shonen.
like, not for me.
We've got so one of the shows that surprised me a little bit was with how much I liked it was Ascendance of a Bookworm. It's kind of I don't know, like the first episodes are a little slow, but I'm interested in the world and this main character because she's essentially an adult in a child's body that all she wants to do is read books. And so like she's brought into another world where people can't read and books aren't available for everyone, and she like all she does is she loves reading books.
She wants to learn how to read good and do other things good too.
Yes. I don't know. This is the type of show that you have to like slice of life to enjoy. And I do think that it's cool that she's trying to like she's using her knowledge of modern society to bring this like more medieval society forward.
Dr. Stone?
No, but basically it's like only driven by her love of books. So like she's trying to like
it's a very natural way of educating the masses or other people around her.
Yeah.
Read this.
Instead of saying that she's a super mega genius.
Yeah,
yes.
who knows how to like make just everything.
Make ramen.
I'm gonna make industrial. What is it? Industrial thing.
Yes.
That, breaks away the stone.
I haven't seen more than episode 2 of that. So
penicillin. Oh, and then I'm also a ramen chef. Oh, also I make light bulbs. Oh, also now I'm blowing glass. We're doing that now too.
But that was like believable.
We also made gas masks.
Yeah.
Are you watching it still?
Here's a cola. No, I stopped.
No. Oh, there's no cola yet. No cola.
No
that
cola
guy.
Yet.
That guy finally made it back. He got his ass kicked and almost died and ran.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that, and then he runs back and then, I'm still watching it. I just put it on and I kind of just pay attention every now and again, and I understand what's going on just fine without knowing Japanese.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother said that he's still watching it, but after listening to the episode where we talked about it, he was like, yeah, you guys got good points, and I didn't really think about how ridiculous the show is.
How kind of
you convinced your brother to stop watching it? Oh, I feel bad now.
He says he's still watching it, but he was like, yeah, I just kind of never realized like ridiculous it is.
Yeah, how like this kid knows everything and he's like 14.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of shows that I think are bad, Val X Love.
Oh Lord.
That show is your typical this is like your typical harem anime from the early 2000s. Not even early, mid 2000s, where you have to activate special powers with ecchi.
Yeah. Yeah. But just like even worse though is that the main character
he's so bad.
likable. Like he's poorly drawn. I'm assuming it's on purpose, and he's just so
He talks so weird too.
he's so annoying. Yeah, I like tried to.
I'm just a pussy. I can't do anything.
He has
I'm
just
afraid
so
of
many
people.
faults and no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Oh man, it's bad.
So the main
It's very
character of
bad.
ReZero?
No, dude.
No,
Subaru is way better than this
Is he
character.
really? Because I'm
Yeah.
like tons of faults and not many redeeming qualities. It kind of sounds
No,
like
like-
Subaru.
At least Subaru has a sense of self.
Yeah.
Like that. This guy is, man.
just a
bad.
I'm gonna go
terrible
ahead and pass.
designed character.
So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna know what you're talking about, but I'll take your word. It's bad. I'm not gonna watch it.
The only benefit from this series is that the opening song is by Ida Rikako, who is a Love Live voice actress, and another series, Oriski. That opening is by Saito Shuka, who is another Love Live voice actress.
Oh, that's a pretty good OP.
Did you guys watch Slime Boy, the most recent episode?
Which one was that one?
It's just a beach scene. It's just
Oh, the OP.
fan service. Is it an OP?
Yeah, that came out.
Yeah.
Didn't that come out a while ago?
It came out
It's
like a
called
month ago.
episode
I
2?
think. Yes.
Yeah, I just watched it. Never mind. I thought it was
Hmm.
new.
Was that the one where they went to get the sand or whatever from the?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is
yeah.
that old? Oh, okay. You know what happened is my I actually had a issue with my card that's on Crunchyroll, and so my premium subscription got canceled.
Gotcha.
And so I thought all these things were new, and I was like, "Fuck." And they're not.
Speaking of
I-
shows,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So I did watch Africa No Salary Man.
Oh,
and
I
that
did.
that was not that good. It was different in the sense like it's kind of reminiscent of Agretzko, but
I hate the characters.
yeah, I don't like the characters at all. Yeah, I think that's what it
I
is.
hate them.
I
Um,
hate them.
Worst.
None of
I
them
don't
are very
like them.
likable at
The
all.
toucan, I fucking hate that character.
Toucan
Yeah,
Sam?
super annoying.
He just
the lizard's
screams.
really weird. The lizard's really weird and kind of creepy. Yeah, I didn't like it. Will not continue watching it.
Definitely not. That is a no
Alright.
from me. Alec,
I
are you
will
watching?
not watch the first one.
Are you watching Hoshiai no Sora?
Oh, is
The
that's
the soft tennis one.
I have it on my list. I haven't watched it yet though. But I was gonna catch up on all these this week now that my move is done, and just like binge.
I will
shows.
not spoil what happens, but there's something that happens at the end of the first episode where I was like, "Oh damn!" But I also there like near the beginning of the episode, there's like a music cue in there with like the piano and stuff that I was like, I feel like I've heard this before, and I'm pretty sure it's almost the exact same cue that plays in Araburu.
Oh, really?
So I want to see if
What?
you notice it too.
Okay.
Since you've seen Araburu in its entirety recently, so I'm not sure if it's from there, but like it just I was like I feel like it's this. I could just be, thinking of it because the visual style looks similar,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. It seems like it's gonna be an interesting like sort of drama series.
Cool.
Hokugo Saikoro, you guys watching that?
I was just gonna type that into the script. I actually totally forgot about it. So I need to add that and watch.
It goes
good?
over games. I mean, it's what I expected it to be. It's more slice of lifey than what some people might enjoy, but
I still don't know if I like the character design. Just the fact that their heads are so mushroom and giant is kind of weird to me. Just like,
So mushroom and giant.
you know
Just
that's
look
what
at-
anime heads look like, right?
just
If you
looking
took
at these
hairstyles off of like
screenshots-
of anime characters, I almost said animal. Anime characters, their heads would be like ridiculously huge.
but
It would be.
it's so pronounced in this show that it just seems
What
so
show is this?
Hokugo Saikoro Club.
The
board game club.
Yeah,
Oh,
tabletop board game club.
Their heads are so
Ah.
mushroom. I don't see it. What are you talking about,
The main-
mushroom?
The main character. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I see
Brown
what
hair,
you mean.
like
The
her
brown hair
head is
is like
literally just a mushroom. Like
yeah, it's like
I just don't know.
yes. Yeah, no, I see what you're talking about now.
It's
I'm like,
too
what are you
extreme.
talking about? Oh, that's what you mean.
If her eyes were like any like not touching her hair and were just and there was like a gap, like a distinguishable gap between her hair and her eyes, I think that would just totally just drive me insane. Like she just has this giant piece of
Could you
head
imagine
just
if
sticking
she?
above her.
Could you imagine if she had no bangs and she just had
Yeah.
this forehead? That's
Yeah,
like
that's
this
what
tall?
like an anime characters look like. Like
Yes,
if you
I know.
take the hairstyle off of an anime character, they would have huge heads.
Hey guys,
I know you're.
This
I
is
know
my
you're absolutely right.
forehead.
But for some
Hello,
reason in
everyone.
this show, it just looks extremely pronounced and
Extremely
I don't know.
mushroom.
Extreme,
Extreme mushroom.
extreme
Home edition.
mushroom. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Alec, I know you saw the
He's
first
dying.
episode of Fantasy
dying.
Star Online 2, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I watched
Dude.
that one.
What the fuck? This is like way more graphic than I thought it was
yeah.
gonna be.
When I thought of them making a show about the game, because you said the first one was like a rom-com, right?
Yeah,
A high school
the other
rom-com.
series was a high school rom-com that they actually
Yeah.
tied into the game because I played I play the game on and off, but like they actually tied that into the game and it's canon.
Right. And this one is like this kid is an orphan and he's taken by this facility and he doesn't remember anything. And then people are just like
Dying.
blood
People die with blood and their heads get
and-
decapitated.
yeah, he like falls over and he sees like his comrade and he's like, "Oh my god!" And it's just her head and he's like, "Ah!" It's
Shit.
Wow.
It reminded
shit
me of
happens.
like Gantz, whatever, where like
Oh,
people just
yeah.
die and blood is everywhere. I was like, this reminds me of like how brutal out of nowhere it just gets. But this is
The-
episode 1, like
Yeah. The
What?
game itself isn't this brutal.
No,
But like
it's
it
not.
does like paint a setting, like it paints a better setting for the story of the game because like this actually does like pretty much follow the story of the game. But it paints it in a darker light and I think that's actually better.
I mean, for storytelling, yeah, I think so. When you're
You
not
don't get a sense
in
of like
there
the
playing the game.
the depth of like how dangerous everything is while you're playing the game
right,
because
because you're an overpowered character.
yeah, and like you can revive.
Yeah, exactly. You can
People
revive.
don't get their heads chopped off
yeah, and just
and shit.
die. Yeah, but
Yeah.
sorry,
Oh,
something
You-
loud. I think
okay.
the AC turned on. I was like, it's very loud. I'm still getting used to this new place. I'm like, what's that? What's that? What's that?
New sound.
It-
New sound. What is it?
Are there any other shows on the fall list that you guys are watching?
I was told to watch the basketball show. My brother said it was really good.
I have the
So I
basketball
may
show on
pick
my
it up.
list. Which
I
one?
may,
The,
I may try it out.
Ahiru no Sora.
no Sora.
yeah, I have that
Yeah.
on my list.
Um,
It's on Crunchy.
Yeah. So I have it into my queue. Also, Freight Grand Order. First episode was pretty good.
I forgot about that one. There's
Uh,
too many shows.
There's a lot of shows. Yeah, the first episode was good. I mean, it's a Fate show. If you're into Fate, if you're a
I
fan
like
of Fate
Fate.
stuff,
Obviously,
this
you love
has-
Fate.
Gilgamesh. Yeah, so Gilgamesh centers around.
Oh, Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh. Yeah, centers around Babylon. So I mean, it's got a lot of really good characters in this
Saber.
this arc, I guess. Don't think there's a saber in this one. Gilgamesh.
Saber.
Enkidu,
She's gonna keep saying
Medusa,
saber.
Mash, Merlin.
Merlin's cool.
What's her name? Is it Areshki Gal? Is that the one who looks like Rin?
Ren from Epic 7?
No, Rin from Fate.
Ishtar. That's what it is.
Ishtar, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
thinking
I think it's gonna be good.
outside
I think it's gonna be good. I'll keep watching it.
Cool.
Don't necessarily have to talk about it just because it's a fun watch and I like the characters. But yeah.
Saber.
All right. Alec, definitely let me know what you think of Hoshiai no Sora, because
Yeah,
that
I'll
might
check
be
it out.
something we could do a shot on. Because I know Drew's not gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, if you are interested on that one,
Okay.
let me know as well.
Sure.
Well, I think that kind of wraps everything up. We've all finished our beers for quite a while, and this has been quite a long episode. But I mean, we've had a
Yes.
lot to talk about, honestly.
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing
So
there's only 3 of us, or this would go on.
oh yeah, it would be like a 3-hour episode.
Yeah.
So catch us on our WordPress, animeondraft.wordpress.com. That has links to all of our social media and wherever we are. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. Just search for Anime on Draft. As we said before, we are on Twitter at Anime on Draft. Hit us up, tweet at us, follow us. Mark posts various opinions that may not represent everyone's opinions, but maybe his own.
But
And
maybe it may not
if you want to start
represent the greater opinion of Anime on Draft
Twitter
as a
Twitter
brand.
battle with them, you can. He also posts updates on like when we have our episodes out or when we're gonna start streaming. Speaking of our stream, we're live right now. Anime on Draft. Sorry, I almost said Anime on Draft at Twitch. Twitch.tv/Anime on Draft. We go live normally every Sunday around 7 or 8 p.m. Pacific time, and it's Monday now. We pushed to Monday because we were supposed to have a special guest. Hopefully, we have that guest next week. If not, we may have another guest in store. Speaking of guests, I know some people have been asking if they can be a guest on the show. Hit us up at animeondraft@gmail.com. Message us there or on our WordPress on our contact page. We will get your email there. Maybe soon we'll have a more revamped website and everything, and maybe a Discord. And it'll be easier to contact us from there. So yeah. Again, if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts or wherever, please leave us a review. Hopefully it's a 5-star one, but like if you write a nice review, we might read it on the podcast. So
Yeah.
I think that wraps it up. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we leave?
No.
No.
That's
Thinking
it.
good. I want to try that punkachino, man.
You gotta
All
have
right,
it.
well,
I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, we gotta get you one.
We gotta make you
Yeah.
find it.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye,
Well,
everyone.
without further ado, goodbye.
Bye.